We're in California for the global reveal of the new Mazda CX-90.
I'll translate. That's a Mazda CX-90. We just found something out today. This car has been developed really for the North American market to North American taste. So it's going to be sold in Canada, US, and Mexico. It's also going to be sold in South America and, g'day mate, Australia.
Now, we don't get the opportunity to drive the CX-90 today, but we're going to do a full walk around of the exterior and the interior so you get a glimpse of what's coming to the market.
All right, you have to wait until you see the inside because, you know, this is not a luxury brand, but boy, you're getting a luxury experience, especially on this top model.
So why don't we start off with powertrains? There's two powertrain options. The first to this new large platform is an inline 6 turbo. It's a 3.3 liter and it has a new 8-speed automatic transmission. How much horsepower is that?
It's got 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. Inline 6 cylinders, especially turbocharged, are awesome. And this now has it, and we've been waiting for this platform to arrive with this new powertrain. I spoke to the chief engineer, Andrea, and I confirmed it has a dual clutch, 8-speed automatic transmission.
Very cool. And sandwiched in the transmission is an electric motor, so this has a mild hybrid system. There's also a second powertrain, and we've been waiting for this from Mazda. It is a plug-in hybrid. It gets 323 combined horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. Also that 8-speed automatic transmission. And Mazda says that you can drive it in pure EV mode for different driving situations.
So some people are thinking, okay, so I get this top model, I get the inline 6, but if I get the plug-in hybrid, I go down to a 4-cylinder. But if you think about a direct actually not a direct competitor to this, like the new Lexus RX, it has a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder plug-in hybrid system. It's basically the same, not the same, but it's a similar kind of setup, and that's a luxury brand and this isn't.
Now, we don't have the EV range for the plug-in hybrid yet. That's all the information that we have. But it also is standard all-wheel drive. And Mazda says that they have tuned this vehicle to be performance-oriented. They handle incredibly well, and they give you that engaging and dynamic drive, which I love, which is why I'm a big fan of Mazda.
So you have inline 6-cylinder and a rear-wheel drive bias all-wheel drive system, and you have a mechanical setup with that 8-speed automatic transmission and a single turbo. So the small electric motor in there helps you get going, and then the turbo, of course, takes care of the rest. So this should be a lot of fun to drive.
And Mazda has added as a standard feature Kinematic posture control, which was first introduced in the MX-5 Roadster, which helps with pitch and body control, making the ride a little bit more comfortable.
So you're probably wondering, why is Zach holding this camera? Well, we're gonna do a walk around, a little show and tell, and then gotta wait for the interior. It's pretty nice.
Talk about a sophisticated and elegant looking vehicle.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you.
I wanna point out that this is a color, a new one. It's called Artisan Red. And Mazda brought this in specifically for the CX-90. I think it's beautiful. It's very rich looking. In the sunlight, it looks like a very deep burgundy.
Yeah, I love the front end of this, especially the way they've done the recessed headlamps and the grille. Very pronounced. It looks a lot like the CX-50 that we saw come out about this time last year. And you can see it from the front. It's a very blunt nose. See how straight up and down that is? But the lights are nicely recessed.
I really like the design. This one is riding on 21-inch wheels. There's chrome exterior trim. And you know what I love, what Mazda added, is the inline 6.
You know what's interesting though? So they've got the badge on the outside. However, they won't let us open the hood. So we can't show you the engine, but there is an inline 6 under the hood of this thing. All right, so this is another feature, I think, Andrea, is the really quite square shoulders, you know, a fairly flat hood, and as I mentioned, this blunt nose. It's striking looking. So one of the design features is this chrome strip that goes up and over the glass, and the bottom is black, and the top is chrome, and that was done to make the vehicle look like it has more of a presence.
And I like that they went with body colored door handles. They didn't go with chrome. You know, it's a real balance, which you always see with Mazda vehicles. You're probably wondering, is this bigger than the CX-9? It is. It definitely offers more space. This is a 7 to 8 passenger vehicle, whereas the CX-9 is 6 to 7.
Now, one thing I like also, nice detail, so the chrome above the window, and then you have this chrome strip that runs along the bottom to help anchor the vehicle, and then they've got the name of the brand in the bottom there. That's a nice touch. Not sure if that's on all trims, but this top trim definitely gets it.
Moving over to the rear, you have got these slim taillights here, and then the CX-90 all-wheel drive badging.
And you know what? Maybe they could have hidden the wiper under the rear valance, but that's not very common. I think it's a pleasant looking vehicle. I think the badging is quite nice.
It's a very simplistic design. It's all about showing light and reflection.
What do you think about this D-pillar back here? It's quite thick.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, I'm glad that they didn't do chrome all around it, that they did some matte black here. I think that it's a good compromise. It certainly makes the chrome stand out at the top, and of course with your roof rails in chrome as well.
And the roof is fairly straight, just like the hood. It looks to me at the back, it's quite heavy compared to the front, looks quite light. I don't know.
Well,
There's something about this area here that looks a bit big.
I think it's because you've got that front that is just so long, right? It looks a little bit sleeker from the front than it does from the back. But I think overall, it's a very good design. I think that it's going to stand out on the road, and I really feel that people are going to like it.
You know, of course we have a delivery truck coming when we're doing our video. So thank you, delivery truck.
Shall we go in and check out the inside? Wait until you see this. All I can say is...
No. Wow.
Wow. When you get the chance to sit in the CX-90 at dealerships or at an auto show, you are going to say, this is incredible. This is a non-luxury brand. This is a luxury experience.
So this would be what we've come to know as the signature model,
Yeah,
right? Now we
yeah.
asked them, is this going to be called signature? And they said, we haven't said the name yet. I'm guessing it's going to be.
Yeah.
So this is the top trim, but boy, it comes beautifully finished. And this brand competes on the base models
Yeah.
with mainline competitors,
That's
right?
right.
And like Toyota and Honda. But then on the top end, I think this competes with, as Andrea mentioned, luxury brands.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is something that we would maybe see from Mercedes-Benz. You know, they have those gorgeous interiors. So this top trim has Nappa leather. Look at this beautiful color. It's kind of an off-white. It has a wood trim in here, as well as fabric on the dash.
I
with
love this.
hanging stitches.
Yeah,
Like-
so this
like-
is meant to look like binding of a Japanese book.
Yes.
And this ash, I think it's ash or and it's beautiful. Maple maybe. It's really light colored.
Yeah.
And I love cloth. And I love that they're going back to cloth on the door cards
Yes.
and on the dashboard. I don't think it's that expensive to do it, but it looks so much better.
It just looks so elegant and sophisticated. And now Mazda has added a 12.3-inch display. I don't know if this is going to be standard. We can only assume this is the top trim. It may be available. It could be standard. This screen is once again controlled at the center console dial. Now, what we did see in the CX-50 is that when the vehicle is stopped, you can use it as a touch screen. I assume
No,
that
I
might
found-
be the same. No?
I found something out from the PR department last night over
Yeah.
a cocktail. They said deep in the menu,
Mm-hmm.
you can have it touchscreen at all speeds.
Wow.
There's a way you can dive. He said it's deep in the menu, but you can
Great.
find that. That's something we found out.
Yeah.
And also, there's a digital instrument cluster, same size as the screen. So you've got the latest technology, 12.3, 12.3, and they kept this control wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Their research shows that Mazda owners love this. I love it. I like
Yeah.
having the controller here.
You know, at a time when many brands, as we all know, are moving to more of a digital experience.
BMW, Audi, Mercedes are all going to touchscreens.
Yes, but even others which didn't have the center console dial, many are going full digital experience. So everything is being done in the screen. That's not the case with Mazda. So it's really going to stand out as a unique option when many brands are moving away from this.
All right, this is the top trim, but there is not one bit of shiny hard plastic in here. So around the shifter, it's matte. We've been saying this for many videos. Same with the controller in the center, it's matte. And look at all those beautiful buttons underneath the radio for all of your HVAC controls. Real buttons, real switches, real controller. This company gets it, that drivers want to be able to do things quickly and not have to go into an interface.
This comes with heated front seats, ventilated front seats, a heated steering wheel, all set up at the center console, which is so simple to use. I mean, it really is a simplistic design. You will find that it's sophisticated, it's elegant. Also to this interior that there is chrome accents, which also kind of ups the luxury in here as well.
That's what I wanted to touch on, is this chrome strip that runs underneath the wood in the door is a very Art Deco kind of 30s look to it, like a steamliner vibe to it. I think it looks really good. And classic steering wheel, 3-spoke with easy to use, real switches, not capacitive touch. That's all good stuff.
And you'll notice panoramic sunroof in here. Mazda is moving forward with that. We typically see a moonroof in Mazda models, but the CX-50 was the first to get a panoramic sunroof. And these seats, I know we have talked about that the CX-5, for example, and the CX-50, the seats are a little bit firmer. I find these to be quite comfortable.
The bottom's a little bit firm. And the chief designer is here, and he said that because now you have an inline 6 engine, especially on this top trim, running along the middle of the engine bay, and that continues with a wide center console, gives the car a sense of presence.
Yes.
So that's the front. Here's me getting in the back seat. The one that's configured here has the captain's chairs. You can get a bench seat. I asked if the center console is removable. They said no, it's not. So to access the third row, you need to slide one of the seats forward. And I moved it up, sort of shared the space, Andrea. And I would say the legroom in the third row is actually pretty good. Your knees sit up high.
Not as high as some other 3-row SUVs. I thought it to be pretty good back there. Something like the Telluride, your legs are sitting down a little bit lower, but I certainly didn't feel that my knees were up to my chest.
One thing about the CX-9, one of the smallest in its competitive set. Now this has grown in size. It's longer, wider, it's bigger, and now you get 3 seats across the back, so you can configure this to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 passengers. This one has the club seats in the second row, so it's down to 7. I like a bench seat myself.
Well, these captain's chairs, we sat back there, and there's heated and ventilated seats back there. So that is going to be an available option to get ventilated rear seats, which is kind of nice, right?
And then you lift the tailgate and you have a nice usable space back there, kind of what you expect. We don't have all the measurements. They're going to share that with us when we get to drive it. And I folded the seats down, and you can tell this is a bigger vehicle for sure.
Yeah, so what our takeaway from this interior is that it's open, it's spacious, it's much more comfortable than something like the CX-5 and CX-50 for seat comfort. I mean, you've got this center console storage. The door pockets are quite large as well. This is great for a family.
You know what we need, Andrea? We need some seat time in this. The launch event is going to be happening at the end of March. So that's the inside. Let's give you our final thoughts.
So what are we waiting on? Well, a few things. Pricing. What is this going to start at, and what is this top trim going to be at? Fuel economy numbers, towing capacity. How much is it going to be able to tow? We know the CX-9 can tow 3,500 pounds. This should be more. And of course, the EV range for the plug-in hybrid, I would hope to at least see 50 kilometers or 31 miles for it to be competitive with other plug-in hybrid vehicles.
All right, so we're going to be back here in California at the end of March, beginning of April. That's when the drive event is in California. We're going to get some seat time. Can't wait to do that. However, dealers are taking orders for these now. It's not going to be too long until it arrives. They tell us that this will be hitting dealerships before summer, so late spring. It's not going to be too long, and we can't wait to drive this thing.